Hi and welcome. I'm Lyndsay.
And I'm Tracey.
And we're here from Island Hula Hoopla.
We're here to share with you how to create your very own heart-shaped hula hoop. We love hula hooping, we love circles, and we love taking our circle hoops around with us and having fun with them. Always puts a smile on people's faces. And what puts a bigger smile on people's faces?
The heart! All of our supplies laid out here on the table. And so we've got the tubing and the supplies that we need for cutting, and all of these items here we've gotten from our local hardware store. So we can source those out from your local hardware store wherever you may live. But we live here in Canada, so these are the supplies that we can get here.
Basically, the bare bones of what you'll need are 2 identical lengths of tubing and 2 90-degree couplings. So whatever that looks like in your area, you can go for that. The size of tubing that we found that works best for the hoops that we use around our body is 3/4 inches, and we'll explain the lengths that we've chosen. So you'll need 2 sizes of 3/4 inch tubing and 2 90-degree couplings. For the smaller mini hoops, we found the type of tubing that works best is this nice stiff tubing that's called Super PEX. That's made in Canada, and you have 2 90-degree couplings there, and the PEX is held on with 2 rings. To attach the poly tubing, the black tubing, it's a friction fit, and the couplings slide into the tube with the help of some hot water. You'll need a tape measure to accurately measure your tubing so that you have symmetry on both sides. And you'll need something to cut the tubing. You can cut the tubing with anything you like. The tool that we found best is this pipe cutter tool. It makes nice, clean, straight cut quickly every time. To attach the rings on your Super PEX, you'll need this PEX crimper tool. A cloth is always handy to keep on hand, just in case you have any spills, and sometimes when you get this tubing from the hardware store, there's some dust and grime on it. So let's get crafty.
This was our first one that we came up with here, and so we realized that after making this hoop that it was a little bit too small to spin on our body and a little bit too big for mini hoops. So we've come up with what we feel is the perfect measurement to make the perfect heart-shaped hoops. One for on your body and one for minis. So we'll start with a large heart-shaped hoop. So we need a piece of polypro, total length 140 inches or 354 centimeters. So then you get each side being 70 inches or 177 centimeters. And then for our small hoop, with the PEX piping, we've got 66-inch total, which is also 168 centimeters, and each side would be 33 inches or 84 centimeters.
Start with the large hoop, the hoop that you're going to hoop with around your body, and we're going to
get the hot water all ready.
You know that heat loosens everything up, including your tubing, and that's going to make that friction fit nice and tight. It's going to make your coupling slide right in there. So I usually do one side at a time. It doesn't take very long to heat up the tubing, so you have a nice smooth slide in there. And insert tubing here, slides right down. And the next part is coming. This is where it's helpful to have a buddy. Slide right along there. And you want to make sure that they're both lined up going in the same direction. You can see the top of the heart revealing itself. Be really careful with the hot water, especially when you're putting in unwieldy big shapes like hearts. You don't want to tip that over on the top. And this one's nice and easy to slide in. The last one makes you really glad you have a hoop making buddy beside you.
And it's more fun with a buddy anyway.
Because of the joins, it actually folds in half kind of nicely, which can help if you want to ship it anywhere. It makes it about half the size.
Good for putting in your car.
And now we're going to push, push, push.
I think we're good.
And this
Use the hot water.
the hot water. This is what it looks like.
Ta-da!
This is your heart. Okay, now we're going to move on and create our little mini hoops. We're just going to make one, and that'll be half of the stuff that you'll need. So on these ones, we're going to start with the bottom first. Slide the ring on first, and then insert your coupling. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Helps to have a buddy. Slide the ring on again and insert into your coupling. And now this tool actually crimps the couplings on. Can you lift that up, please?
Of course.
It crimps the couplings onto the friction bit. We've got one ring crimped on, and now we're going to continue on with the other one. You have to push really, really hard.
And that's the sound we're looking for.
Sound of success. Now, this is where you're really, really glad you have a buddy, because it gets a little bit hard to manipulate the tubing at this point. So we're going to put our rings on first and bend it into a cute little circle. This one I'm going to crimp beforehand because I'm actually going to have more room. So if Lyndsay can hold that. I'm going to push that down.
Great.
And
wow, it's good to get them working out. Looping forks.
And sometimes it's going to form an ellipse, which is totally fine. We're going to manipulate that around into a heart shape next. All right, there we go. Can you see the heart? Not yet, it's okay. We're going to push this down and flatten it out. And we're going to flatten that. So you might want to just twist your tubing, gently twisting it and lining it up until it forms your heart. Now, you can decorate this any way you like, and we'd like to show you some hoops that we've decorated. These are the larger body size hoops that you can hoop around your body, and you can see the sky's the limit. You're only limited by your own imagination. We'd love to hear any suggestions and tips that you might have after experimenting with this. And we wanted to share with you some tips for overcoming wonkiness, because when you're making a hoop, it's a circle and there's not a lot of pressure on the tubing itself to maintain that shape. But when you're creating a heart, there is a little bit of pressure on the actual tubing, and that's when it can wonk out frontwards or backwards and just kind of stop conforming to its heart shape. So ways to overcome wonkiness in your heart. Tape will help with that, especially duct tape on the joints. It will just help to stabilize that, and you can always adjust it as you need to. If you look straight down the tubing, straight down your design, you can actually adjust it a little bit. So you want to have it, if you're putting it flat on the table, that's the shape that you're going for.
Showtime, Synergy. Okay, so we've been trying it a little.
We'll just cut there and we'll start on this part.
Okay.
What the ring does is it crimps
Oh, now I know how to make hula hoop.
Yes, you do, and everyone else is going to know. Remember I said don't say anything? It crimps the couplings onto the friction fit so that they are not going to go anywhere after this.
It's okay if I can talk, Mom.
Thank you.
Yay!
Oh.
That was great. That was